Welcome back to Dinar Current. Today, we're diving into a question that's been buzzing in investment circles for years, and it getting louder as we head further into 2025. Will the Iraqi dinar become the next big investment? The Iraqi dinar, or IQD, has long captivated investors looking for alternative currency plays. For years, whispers and bold predictions about a massive revaluation have drawn in everyone from seasoned traders to curious newcomers. Now, with 2025 in full swing, the big question remains, is this the year the dinar finally takes off? To get to the bottom of this, we need to look at its history, the current economic climate in Iraq, what the experts are saying, and most importantly, the risks you need to be aware of. Let's start with a quick history lesson. The Iraqi dinar was first introduced way back in 1932, replacing the Indian rupee. For decades, it was a fairly stable currency. But then came years of political turmoil, wars, and heavy international sanctions. Under Saddam Hussein's regime, the dinar went into a freefall, suffering from runaway inflation and massive devaluation. Naturally, this shattered investor confidence. After 2003, with the U.S.-led invasion, Iraq introduced a whole new set of banknotes. The goal was to stabilize the economy and start fresh. Since then, the dinar has slowly clawed back some stability, but its value against major currencies like the US dollar is still very, very low. And that's this low exchange rate that has become the fuel for all the speculation about a potential revaluation in the future. So, why are investors so fascinated by the dinar? The core of the excitement boils down to one word: revaluation. The idea is simple. If the dinar's value were to suddenly and significantly increase against the US dollar, anyone holding a large amount of the currency could see incredible returns. Imagine buying millions of dinar for just a few $1,000s, and then one day the exchange rate skyrockets. This dream of a massive payday has created a dedicated niche market of dinar investors who are buying and holding the currency, hoping for that one big event. Beyond just the hope of a revaluation, there are some fundamental arguments. Iraq is sitting on a sea of natural resources, especially oil. As one of the world's largest oil producers, its economic fortunes are tied to the black gold. Economic growth and rising oil revenues could, in theory, strengthen the country's currency over time. Some investors believe that if Iraq can achieve political stability, rebuild its infrastructure, and attract foreign investment, the conditions would be perfect for the dinar to strengthen significantly. Now, let's talk about the current factors that are shaping the dinar's destiny. First and foremost is Iraq's oil-dependent economy. Oil revenues make up a huge chunk of the country's GDP, so if oil prices go up, or if Iraq becomes more efficient at producing and exporting oil, its national economy gets a powerful boost. A stronger economy typically leads to a stronger currency. Then there's the giant elephant in the room: political stability. Iraq's history is marked by political unrest, corruption, and security challenges, all of which have historically dragged the dinar down. For the currency to have any real shot at appreciating, the country needs a stable and effective government. Investors are watching the political climate in Baghdad very, very closely, because any signs of lasting peace and good governance could be a game changer for investor confidence. We also have to consider monetary policy. The Central Bank of Iraq holds the keys to managing inflation and the country's exchange rate. If the central bank implements smart policies that promote economic stability and keep inflation in check, it can have a hugely positive impact on the dinar's long-term value. This is a critical piece of the puzzle. And finally, we can't ignore global market trends. The dinar doesn't exist in a vacuum. Its value is influenced by what's happening in the wider world, especially the strength of the US dollar and the volatility of global oil prices. Any serious dinar investor needs to be a student of global economics, not just Iraqi politics. So, what are the experts saying about all this? Well, this is where it gets tricky. Most mainstream financial experts will tell you to be extremely cautious. While you'll find plenty of enthusiasts online predicting a dramatic overnight revaluation is just around the corner, most professional economists stress the deep uncertainty of it all. Investing in a currency like the dinar isn't like buying a stock or a bond. Its potential return is almost entirely dependent on complex geopolitical and economic shifts that are incredibly hard to predict. You'll see forums and websites claiming that Iraq is about to revalue the dinar as part of a grand economic recovery plan. But often, these claims are purely speculative and lack any concrete evidence or official announcements. The expert advice is clear. If you're even thinking about this, you need to do your own deep research and be very wary of anyone promising you quick, guaranteed profits. This brings us to the risks, and they are significant. Let's be blunt about them. First, the revaluation is completely uncertain. There is absolutely no guarantee that the dinar will ever revalue in the way investors hope. Much of the hype is built on speculation, not on confirmed government policy. You could be waiting for something that never happens. Second, there are liquidity issues. Unlike the dollar, euro, or yen, the Iraqi dinar is not a major player on the global stage. It's not easily traded. This means that if you're holding a large amount of dinar and you want to sell it, you might find it difficult to convert it back into US dollars or another major currency, especially without losing a lot on the exchange. Third, the political and economic instability we talked about is a double-edged sword. While stability could boost the dinar, any negative development, a new conflict, a political crisis, a drop in oil prices could easily send its value tumbling even lower. Instead of a revaluation, you could be looking at a further devaluation. And finally, because this is a niche and hyped-up investment, it's a magnet for fraud and scams. There are countless stories of people being duped by schemes promising guaranteed returns on dinar investments. You have to be incredibly careful and verify every source before you even think about buying large amounts of this currency. So, after all that, should you invest? For the vast majority of mainstream investors, the Iraqi dinar is a high-risk, purely speculative gamble. Yes, the potential for a massive payout is there, that's the hook. But it comes with an equally high, if not higher, chance of losing your entire investment. If you do decide to dip your toes in, it should only be with money that you are fully prepared to lose. This should never be a core part of your investment strategy. On the other hand, some collectors or niche investors might find it an interesting, albeit risky, way to diversify a very small part of their portfolio. For these individuals, the keys are painstaking research, a lot of patience, and extremely realistic expectations. To wrap it all up, will the Iraqi dinar be the investment of 2025? The honest answer is that nobody knows for sure. There are logical arguments that could support a future revaluation Iraq's immense oil wealth, the potential for political stabilization, and gradual economic growth. But the risks are immense and undeniable. The smart approach is to treat the dinar with a healthy dose of caution and skepticism. Do your homework. The allure of a life-changing return makes it a fascinating story to follow, but it should never replace sound, traditional, and more stable investment strategies. As 2025 continues to unfold, we'll all be keeping a close eye on Iraq's economic and political journey. It will be the only true indicator for anyone hoping to ride this highly speculative wave. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Dinar Current, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next update. See you next time.